Duoqueue podcast. I'm your host Alicifer, and joining me is my co-host Benson and our esports analysis Sturgeon.
Hi guys, thanks you for once again tuning in, and today we are also joined by our special guests Chuffer and Charlie from Team Direwolves. How are you guys going? We'll start with Charlie.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Surviving. And Chuffs?
My webcam stopped working. That's pretty bad.
Always hopeful words, Chuffs.
First day back after like a month break, and we're having all sorts of technical issues, so please bear with us, guys. All right, first of all, well done last week at ACL's recent tournament. You guys did very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
It was a tough series, that's for sure. AV was probably our hardest team we faced yet, so it's a great game.
We had a pretty hard bracket as well. We went up against a lot of good teams that we didn't expect to verse into the finals.
Imagine the world without Lucian.
Faced
Chuffer.
Unity.
Denny and Chuffer would die. All right, guys.
Unity
So,
gave us hell in bot lane. It was not fun.
just a reminder to everyone joining us in Twitch chat, if you have any questions for our guests, make sure to write them down, and we will be asking them at the end of the podcast. All right, guys. So, let's move on to our first topic of discussion, League of Legends news. What is everyone's first impressions of Gnar?
Hey, I think my webcam's working.
Congratulations.
Good boy, Chuffs.
Everyone wants to see you.
All right, Charlie, we'll start with you. Have you played Gnar?
I haven't played Gnar, but I've seen people playing Gnar, and I don't know if it's a very good champion.
No.
He has too many variables in his kit. Like, you can't control a lot of his mechanics. It just seems like you have to really master this champion to make it work. So I'm not sure if he's worth it.
He's so average. Oh, he's here.
Yeah, like
I think about
does underwhelming amount of damage.
I think
Yeah.
one of the problematic aspects of Gnar's kit is he doesn't really synergize with many item builds very well. So while he is a really good champion, his scaling is really limited by how well he can build up and get strong. I think he's more of a fun champion, not so much a competitive champion, but he is very interesting. And he offers a lot of crowd control, so it should be interesting to see if he makes it into the professional teams' kits.
He just seems so unpredictable,
Could
like
be
that. The rage thing where he turns into Mega Gnar. It just seems like it just happens at all the worst times. Like, I've seen people try to do like the double hop, and it just like messes up, and he transforms like before he gets the hop, and it just screws up an entire combo. I don't know. His kit just seems so strange to me. Like, I really like the idea of having a two-form champion because I love Jace and Elise and stuff, but no, he's just so unpredictable. I mean, he's cute as hell, but he's such a strange champion. It's really, I don't know how to. I haven't seen like anyone play him like really well yet. Like, all the people that have played Gnar that I've seen in ranked have all been pretty average. So I haven't got like a really good idea of him yet. He's like one of those champions with the hidden power, like LeBlanc. When she first came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this champion sucks," and then like 6 months later, she's like the best mid laner ever. So
Yeah, similar to the Kha'Zix effect. Was really weak when he first came out, but then eventually people started picking up the mid lane, and he was really strong. Then people picked him up in the jungle, and it was really good. I think anything with any character that has like really unique skill set is always the potential for people to master them really well and be played. But yeah, I don't think he will be the top consistent pick or anything like that.
much like Master Yi. Like, I remember when he first came out, everyone was really bad at him, and then like people like Weed Whacker picked him up, and it was just like, oh, there's such a crazy snowball effect. It's unreal.
Yeah,
that was a top meme. So patch 4.14, guys. The nerfs and buffs with bloody. Well, was it 4.15 or 4.14 that had the Alistair nerf?
That's 4.15.
Yeah. Well, that is a nerf I've been waiting to happen because Alistair is just the scariest thing in the world right now. Oh, he's top lane and he's mid and he's just everywhere all the time. It's the worst.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's a flexi pick as well for support and support and top lane just pushes him over the edge to being far too strong.
like Maokai.
Are you talking about Alistair?
Yeah.
Well, Alistair's pretty weak now, especially in the change. You can't tip up auto attack people in trades and just like dominate the lane. He can only be played support basically. I mean, you can play him top lane, but like there's so many things that bring him top lane. It's not really worth it. I wouldn't call it a flexi pick anymore. I would say he's just like a support pick. He's like good at diving, he's good at healing, he's good at like engaging, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many better picks in top lane. You don't need to put Alistair there.
He's definitely been nerfed, but I just wanted to ask. So the nerf definitely affects any build that has a Triforce or a Lichbane in it, but people have still been building it just Roar and just going full AP. Do you think the build will still be possible without like a Lichbane or a Triforce?
I haven't seen anyone build Lichbane. I mean, you could play it cheesy and have fun with AP Alistair, but like yeah, if you were to play top Alistair, it doesn't affect it too much. In terms of like the item build, like you'd still build the same stuff on him, but I just don't see him being picked up anymore.
What about Chuffer? What's your opinion on the Cogmore changes in the 4.14 and stuff?
I thought the nerf on his ulti was pretty drastic. That was a 25% decrease in damage.
It was huge
for champions, and I thought that was a bit out of line. They made his HP a lot weaker, and he was already a kind of tanky kind of AD carry since he had no escape, and I was a bit squishy, but I still think he's really, really strong because he's got that high range and he's got a slow, he's got the shred, which is pretty much beating Maokai's and all those tanky junglers right now. I mean, tanky top laners right now. And yeah, he's kind of like Vayne, that he can shred tanks. And a lot of AD carries like Corki, Lucian, they aren't really doing that right now.
Yeah, dealing with a Fed Udyr as Lucian and all those kind of Kate and all that kind of stuff is like absolutely impossible. Like you just can't do any damage to them. Like you get your burst out and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's insane.
What are your thoughts on the new kind of movement of our ADCs kind of going away from the Jinx Lucian sort of aspect, but going more into the hyper scaling, your Corkis, your Kog'Maws, your Tristanas? What are your thoughts on what influenced that, and how do you feel it's going for the scene at the moment? And I'll direct this one at Chuffers. That's okay, that's okay. I thought our AD should respond with that one.
It's I don't know. I thought Tristana has always been good, but she just never got any attention until recently. Like her kit remained kind of the same. The IE change, like that really affected a lot of AD carries.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty huge. I reckon it made Jinx really, really strong, but no one's really playing her.
Yeah, I know. I found her amazing. I thought she was really, really
good.
Yeah,
once she goes rockets and she's doing like 500 damage per crits, and she's doing every crit every like couple seconds. It's pretty insane.
Instantly clearing a wave and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah. The problem is she kind of doesn't have the sustain, and she kind of gets stuffed in lane sometimes. Tristana is really, really good with critical chance. Yeah, critical crit is really, really good right now for Tristana. I thought the nerfs would like stuff up Lucian, but I actually like him better with Infinity Edge. I feel like he's got a lot stronger with Infinity Edge. But he's like kind of a caster based AD carry, so it was a bit strange. Who else?
So why do you think that we've moved away from Vayne being the hyper carry?
She is the worst champion. She she just dies. She has like the lowest base HP, and you have to be like really good.
She has really low margin for error. Like if you're out of position slightly, then you're dead, and you'll pretty much lose the team for your team.
Especially as a lot of assassins and a lot of the newer assassins have really strong gap closers, so it's just really easy to get onto a Vayne. Even though she can bring down tanks, the tanks can still just drop her too quick, especially in comparison to someone that has like good shred or something like that.
She has some really cool mechanics though. Just go double lift on her, everything works out.
I mean, well, he didn't make worlds, so I wouldn't say she's that good of a champion. But yeah, if you can make flashy plays on her, and she's fun to play, but like in full seriousness, she kind of just sucks.
What's your opinion on like Graves right now, Chuffer?
Graves.
I think the change to the Bloodthirster made him a fair bit weaker, because I found playing him just so different, like when he was auto attack based and not Q
I don't
ulti
think I've actually
based.
played much Graves. I played him probably once after the change.
Oh, it's not fun. It's so different.
Oh, they added a bit of damage to his ulti, but
Yeah, the collateral, extra 20 or something like that. It wasn't too
I
big.
remember like when Graves first came out, it was like so broken. You could just one shot people if you came out first with box shot.
Yeah, it was
Not really the same anymore, but I've seen Graves sometimes do well. Like they quick draw up to the 80 carry, chuck in a couple of crits and then ulti, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't see any like. Why would you pick Graves over like say Lucian or Corky?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting till we get to see some more competitive Misfortune games.
God bless.
Just purely for that skin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that skin is literally the greatest thing in the entire world. I just can't handle it. I love it. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's rad. The amount of detail they put into like the newer skins is just absolutely unreal. Like, I mean, apart from the Riot Chaos skin, like that Vega skin is literally the greatest skin in the game right now. Like,
It's
the
like
quotes.
the sound effects.
Yeah, it's just like there's quotes from like Star Fox and like all the old N64 games, and oh, it's so good. Oh, I haven't even seen it in game yet either. Like, nobody plays Vega. There's like one person, like, and it's got like
It's
the
been-
Konami code and it's unreal.
If you watch streams, there's been a lot of people playing him as jungle.
What?
Jungle Vega. Oh yeah, it's
We're
like
playing
a new
Jungle
thing.
Vega?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm not
thing?
even kidding. Apparently so. A lot of people are playing it.
It is.
Yeah.
There's actually Jungle Na was happening for a little while as well. I remember Nightboo playing it, but he was also playing, Jungle Jace and all those other really
Jungle
good junglers.
Azir. That's where it's at.
Jungle Azir. Oh my god, I'm so keen for Azir.
So
He looks so cool. He has the coolest kit. It's just so different. Like, it's unreal. Like, maybe Chuffer can go back to mid god and then start like maining Azir. Like the dream.
Oh god, no one's ever gonna let that go.
Never. Never ever.
Let's talk about supports. We've just discussed a bit of the 80s, the top lanes. Let's talk supports now. There was that change to Morgana. Now this is going to be directed to Charlie, of course, being our support player. What do you
Like,
feel
scripts
of the
sometimes?
transition of supports from now to like from before, sort of thing? If that makes sense. So pre
Oh, yeah, this is a
4.15, yeah. So we've gone from like your Leona, your Bran, your Braum being really, really strong front lines to now we've gone more supports sort of thing, and we're sort of
Range
moving away from
supports.
Morgana, like utility supports.
I think there's like these small changes that dictated all the champion picks. Like when the Dorian shield was like super strong before they brought in like all the relic and the coin and stuff. There've just been buffs and changes to those items that kind of like dictates like the champion picks that are like more passive and heal orientated, since the game is like transitioned into a hyper carry late game with a tank top, and you like have a tank jungler or an assassin jungler, and like it's kind of like, it's hard to say, but I think it's mostly the fact that like you need those type of utility supports to like Nami. Nami is a good example. Morgana's a great example of the late game support because she adds like the Black Shield, which denies Randuins, and like
Braum
CC
as well.
into like. And Braum is like Braum's. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Braum because I kind of suck at that champion.
Oh, it's so easy, man.
Like,
Just
really,
walk up,
really
hit
hard.
someone. Done.
I don't know. I
Braum
just feel like I'm not tankier.
Really good.
But yeah, I think it's the changes to items really that really change how supports are picked. I still feel like Morgana's still strong. They didn't know what's strong about her. That her bind is a 3-second bind, very easy to hit if you're good at skill shots, and like they're nerfing her ulti, which does nothing because that's not what you use as a support. You kind of don't use that for damage. You like use your E and your Q mostly in captive CDR.
The changes on the shield, though, definitely influence how effective she is with support now that a lot of the AP supports can break that shield a lot easier. Like people like Thresh can almost proc it with 1 Q now, or the start of the Q. So surely that's going to have a bit of an influence on how popular Morgana's going to be.
A little bit, but not too much. I feel like if you time your the hook is just because it pulls you closer. If it doesn't pull you closer and you timed your E right, the AD carry gets the position in a good place where he doesn't get forced into like a fight. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty gay if you get lancing ganks with it, but I don't feel like Morgana's nerfed much at all. I think her Q needs to be nerfed if you're going to nerf her. It's just such a broken ability.
Do you think
it's like a really wide hitbox?
Do you think the problem is the hitbox makes the Q too easy to land, or that they should just reduce the duration of the Q?
It's a bit of column A, bit of column B, isn't it? I swear. Like, you get hit by a Morgana bind from, like, Jamaica, and then you stay there for, like, 2 years, and it's just the worst thing in the world. Like, honestly, you can be at, like, the Q can go, like, very obviously past you, but you still get bound, and then you're there for, like, 2 seconds, crying in fear, because there's nothing you can do. She just follows up with an ulti, and you either flash out, or you die. Like, it's just the dumbest thing. I hate Morgana.
She doesn't, like, lose anything for randomly chucking out Qs. There's no punishment. It costs like 5 mana.
Yeah.
So on like 5-second cooldown.
And she turns into like a half AP carry mid, like into the late game with like Zhonya's, and it's just like I'm more scared of a Morgana running at me these days than like most of the AP mids, because if a Morgana gets to me and I don't have like a QSS or a like a flash up, I'm gonna die. Like there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
so stupid.
Broken hero. I don't think you'll stop seeing Morgana. The reason she's a little weaker though is because like the early game champions, you won't see her in Korea because they play Nami, Twitch, and Lucian, and like those are really good champions against Morgana because they do so much early game damage. And Nami's like actually a decent pick against Morgana. It's like very hard to get out of lane without being like 20-30 CS behind. If not, you die from being poked out of lane. Yeah. But if you're really good at skill shots, you can make Morgana work in pretty much 90% of situations. That's why I love her. Yeah, I think going back on like why it's transitioned into more utility supports is late game AD carries like our meta. So.
All right, guys. Well, let's talk about some local esports news. Like we said in the introduction, we do have our Direwolves ACL Challenge winners. So congratulations again. You guys beat Immunity, which was the old Dignitas, which was then the Extremers, which is now Immunity. A bit confusing. But still, that's really excellent. How did it feel having your ex-teammates play against each other? Charlie?
It's kind of funny. I subbed for that team, but like it was more frustrating. Zahe just camped bot lane for like years, honestly. It is so frustrating playing against Zahe. He is the cancerous. They put me until going into the best of 3 into the AV game, and I was just like, for me, it was just I didn't like Zahe, like because he just makes bot lane hell. But I don't think there was much of a real worry about it. Like I don't think Rippy or I really was bothered about it too much.
Yeah.
We just wanted to win.
There wasn't any like a BM chat at the beginning or during the game, was there?
No, there wasn't. It was friendly. It was okay.
All right, and then you guys took out Avant-Garde after knocking it losers bracket. So, how did that feel?
I felt terrible because that was the reason we lost the third game. I fed so bad. I got caught twice that cost at the objectives. But bringing it back was like the most biggest relief to me because I was ready to quit. I was like, all right, if we don't qualify, I'm done with the scene. Like too much crap went down, and I was just like, I was getting exhausted from it all. But definitely taking a series after being into the losers bracket was very exhausting, but very rewarding for me.
I was actually playing pretty badly in the tournament. I personally thought I was playing quite badly, but towards the end of the tournament, I went silent on the TS and I told everyone that I'm going Korean mode now. I'm not gonna talk to anyone. I'm
Did you
just gonna play really.
did you
really
fluff your hair
professionally
while
now.
you're at it and just like go ham?
Just touch my hair for the rest of the game. And yeah, I think I played a lot better in the last 3 games of the tournament. So I was kind of happy.
Yeah.
And if I can try to do that more in like even solo queue or whatever, I think I'll actually improve a lot.
Okay,
So,
and
yeah.
you're gonna still stick with the whole Lucian, the idea of Lucian forever, Chuffer? Or you got
Yes,
some
Lucian is
ADC tricks up your sleeve?
so strong. Right? Lucian is so good right now. Like Claire proved that in IM game 2 where they picked up a Lucian mid, and we know that like AV Kensty's always been playing Lucian mid, but we didn't know that Claire played Lucian mid, but he managed to pull it out. And what he did was just bully Sharp out of lane. He didn't really get a lot of kills, but he had an immense CS lead on everyone. There was a point in the game where it was probably 300 CS where everyone was like 200 CS, and that was like 4 kills worth of gold already. And he just put so much pressure on mid lane, and we didn't know what to do because Lucian is hard to gank. He's a lane bully, and he scales somewhat well. And
like
yeah,
30-second ult.
yeah.
Max cooldown.
He played the cooldown reduction build, I think, and he had his ultimate up every 20 seconds or so. And that was a really big part of why we lost game 2.
The dash just makes him almost impossible to trade against in mid because he can
Yeah.
just double.
I think Immunity knew that as well, because they were banning out Lucian against us when we were blue side. I think that's what they did. And yeah, they just didn't want us to get Lucian. I don't know if they think it's because I play a lot of Lucian or they just think Lucian's broken. I think it's a bit of both. Probably
they're
more
scared of you,
because
Chopper?
Lucian is actually broken. Huh?
Like, I think they're scared of you, man. Like, I've come across you in solo queue, and I just ban Lucian every game now, just in case. Like, just in case I'm versing you, Chuff.
Lucian is really broken. I still got a lot to learn with him, but so far what I've done with him is pretty good. Like I've been confident in every lane phase. Every time someone goes for a CS or something, I can always land the Q on them, which is really big for the lane. My build is like IE Shiv BT, which has been going pretty much every single game.
Asian
Now,
BT, really?
That if I get a surprise dash onto say the mid laner or the enemy AD carry, I'm almost always bursting them from 100 to 0. That's such a game changer.
That's insane. Actually, I didn't even think of that. Like, I mean, I haven't like seriously looked into Lucian since the change. Like, I played like 100+ games of him back with the BT days, and I couldn't adapt to it. He's just so different now. He feels like such a different champion without a Triforce.
Yeah,
I know.
he's
like
a sort of different playstyle now.
Good version of Ezreal.
Hey, nothing wrong with Ezreal, man. You saw Raydir play it.
Champion sucks so hard. It's the
He's a
worst
good
champion
champion, dude.
No, don't play Israel. He's terrible in the meta at the moment.
It's all skill, man. It's all skill.
He does
You
no
gotta
I've got a
put it
skin
damage.
with him. I have to play him.
Yeah. I pulse fire, man. Let's put it that. But so what about the whole the oceanic teams like reshuffling basically with immunity to Exodus and then back to Chiefs to the old days of Chiefs. And oh man, there's so many teams like switching around now. Like you like Dig with Rippy with Direwolves and Kensty and AV and Extreme is now immunity, and it's just there's so much stuff going on right now and all these new teams surfacing. It's just it's unbelievable. Like there's so much to take in right now in the oceanic scene. Any opinions on
I
it,
think-
boys?
I think that a lot of it was like
You can go first.
Alright, yeah. I found that it's just like a lot of the teams, I don't know, they have like their individual internal conflicts where they just don't work together, so that kind of like dictates them like leaving after losses from like you see changes every like event or something, like after autumn, winter, like there was a whole bunch of changes every time. So I don't know. I just think like people like to change it up because there's not a lot in it, and if things aren't working, people just tend to change it rather than work on fixing it as a team.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
And Chuffs, you had something to say?
I was just commenting on how a lot of organization teams are moving to their own org type of deal. I don't know like the whole semantics over it, but I find that really interesting that they're going from a safe kind of org into their own business.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
actually
like,
really
Yeah, a lot of
surprising.
teams want to like build their own organizations, get their money,
legacy.
because I think sponsors don't actually give much in Australia. They like take most of the sponsorship money and like give you very little. So it's like much easier just to start your own brand and rep yourself and build from there.
Have more reliability that way. There has been a lot
Yeah,
of
you get more-
backlash with sponsors not giving things that they have been promised.
Yeah,
Best
There's
of
more
luck.
potential to grow as well.
shady
Develop something
esports.
of your own.
Alright guys, let's now run into the international LOL news. And to have that, we have lovely Stargin. Could you take it
Thanks.
away?
Oh, thanks, Alicifer. Well, it's been a pretty busy few weeks in the international esports scene. We now have 13 of the 16 teams that will be playing at the World Championships this year. Most recently, though, this weekend we had the NALCS playoffs, where the top 3 NA teams got to decide for who will be representing North America in Worlds. Firstly, I just wanted to ask a few of the guys who they think will be the top representatives from the world for this year in Worlds. Like, who do they really want to see play? Chuffer, you're up first. It can either be a player or a team. It's up to you guys.
I think Direwolves should be up there, just personally. They're a pretty great team. The AD carry's kind of the best.
Well, we almost had Legacy playing, but unfortunately they were 3-0'd by Dark Passage, but it would have been good.
Yeah. I guess TSM, I don't know. I think Wild Turtle is really, really good.
Well, I guess that actually leads me into a good point about TSM and Wild Turtle. We talked about Tristana earlier. Tristana was played to a lot of success over the weekend, and one of the big talking points has been about how Wild Turtle managed to get 3 crits in a row to kill Cogmore at the last team fight that sealed the win for TSM. I was just wondering, how much do you reckon the game's changed now that the game has transitioned to a lot of Infinity Edge instead of Bloodthirsters now, especially for you, Chuffer?
I really don't like the crit meta, to be honest. I feel like a lot of it's luck, actually.
Yeah,
'Cause,
because that's what they were talking about. He scored 3 crits in a row in the
Yeah,
last team fight, and people were saying that that's a
pretty
bit.
insane.
And Double Lift posted a long time ago saying that he didn't like that Infinite Edge was now almost bought on every champion since the Bloodthirster nerfs. So do you think it'd be better if they kind of reduced the power of crit and so they kept the game trying to remove as much RNG, or do you reckon that's just the way they're going to try and keep it?
I feel like games that want like competitive atmosphere should always move away from RNG. I saw a lot of that in like Dota, where they were changing like a lot of RNG aspects to kind of put more counterplay around it. Can't really remember from the top of my head. I think Tinker, one of his abilities was like, I think it was a blind or something. It was a laser, and they changed it from a percentage to like every hit or something.
Yeah.
I think maybe they can do something like that with critical chance, saying like every 4 hits on an Infinity Edge will actually crit. That way you can kind of predict it, and you can play accordingly. But I don't know how they'll balance that with, say, you buy a Phantom Dancer and it makes it 1 in every 2 attacks kind of thing. But if they do something like that, then trading, you can actually calculate it instead of going all in, hopefully critting with your 25% crit chance, i.e., and if you don't crit, you pretty much lose the trade and kind of snowball the enemy AD carry.
Yeah. In regards to RNG, I was wondering what's your opinion on fears? Because I know a lot of people don't like fears because of the odds of you just running in a direction that just doesn't really hamper you in any way.
They didn't they change fear so that it's
Yeah, they
always
made it so
you
they
walk
run
backwards
away.
now?
Are they?
Yeah.
Do they all just make you run
Yeah.
backwards now?
Yeah.
Well, you think that's a better
So now
form
when
of?
you play like Heck Room kind of thing, you can ulti in behind them and they will always be feared back into your team. Also
Yeah.
with like Fiddlesticks, I haven't seen many people do this yet, but they've been ganking and I think they've been flashing behind people and fearing them so they walk into the lane and the team and then they get kills off that. Kind of like an insect kind of thing with
Yeah.
fear. And yeah, I've seen it most work really well with Hecarim since obviously he's got that gap closer kind of ultimate fear thing. And yeah, a lot of Hecarim junglers are doing that right now when they try to gank mid and top and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me just quickly chiming in, what's your opinion on running the whole 1% crit in your marks, Chuffer? Because I know a lot of ADCs do it. Like, I do it.
I feel bad for running that.
Yeah.
Really.
I've been crit before. Not a good feeling.
It's
Happened
such a
maybe
good
once
feeling,
every
man.
like 2
I
billion
love it.
games, but it's a bad feeling.
But then you get that one
Oh.
game where you crit 3 times level 1, you're just like, oh, awesome. Sweet.
Yeah, the odds of
GG.
that.
Those like
Yeah, I personally
Draven Axes
don't
level
want it.
1 crits.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
I
feel.
think a lot of 80 carries, some 80 carries run it, but I personally don't run it just because I'd rather have that consistent maybe one magic resist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't want to like 1% good chance.
Yeah.
Also been forgetting to add it sometimes. So.
For the next question for the guys, in the finals, TSM managed to beat Cloud9 in 5 games, but they managed to win games 4 and 5 after being already down 2 sets in a game. To your experiences, what if a team is able to win games 4 and 5 in a set after already being 2 down, what does that really reflect on their mindset and the team?
We did the
That's what we
exact same
did.
thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, you gotta go into drafting. You can't like just have the same drafting plan. Like things adapt. Like, I would say it's like exhausting, but at the same time, it does show like you're an adaptive team. I think, like TSM, like they picked amazing for the Cogmore. They had Zareth. Zareth is like great as Cogmore comps because like no matter like how strong a Cogmore comp is, like if they can't enter a fight without being poked down, like Cogmore's not going to do anything. And yeah, I don't know. I think TSM just outdrafted Cloud9.
Yeah, I was going to bring up a point about that. Cloud9 previously going against TSM often used to try and just ban out Amazing, often spending 3 bans banning his Lee Sin, Elise and Evelyn. Now that he's quite strong on Kha'Zix and Nunu, they've tried to ban him out in the first game, but then Bjergsen on his Syndra or even on his Zed became too much of a threat, so they had to ban him. I guess that shows that their drafting was... Cloud9 tried to adapt to the drafting, but it kind of just set them back because now they just had too many threats. And then letting Nami get through consistently to Lust Boy just kind of sealed their fate.
I think it was in fact in the last game when Lust Boy picked Nami, they had the opportunity to pick Tristana, and that would have been like the game for I think Cloud9. When you focus ban a player, a team crumbles generally. So it's like it's not exactly a bad strategy to focus ban a weak player or player with a weak champion pool. It makes drafting extremely hard, and you're limited to like certain team comps. But that being said, though, if you do like ignore something that's extremely OP, and you're going to get punished for it for focus banning some player on a team. So yeah, I don't know. I think TSM are great because they have like very versatile champion pools. So it's once that's fixed, like they'll be like a god tier team.
Yeah, I think
Which they already are actually.
Bjergsen really demonstrated that he's possibly the strongest player in maybe not more than just North America, maybe even Europe as well. Now that he's a shot caller and really high playmaker, he has a really good champion pool with Xerath, Syndra, Zed, those three, and Orianna as well. Four make a really diverse range of champions that he can play at a really high level. I think if he performs well at Worlds, that'll be the key to TSM doing well.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really watched much of like events, but I don't know who's the shot caller or anything. But like, he's definitely been performing from the games that I've seen. I feel like everyone has to be on par though. Well, it's like you can't have a weak link going into like a world event against Koreans, because Koreans generally don't have weak link players. So
yeah, well, speaking of Korea, we now have the 3 teams that will be representing the Korean region now that the OGN Champions Regionals final, the regionals are finished. We have the 2 Samsung teams, Samsung White, formerly Samsung Ozone, and Samsung Blue, with Samsung Blue being the first seed. And the 3rd team representing Korea will be Najin Shield, who managed to make it through the Gauntlet of Death, winning 3 best-of-5 series against KT Bullets, KT Arrows, who are the previous OGN champions, and then the previous world champions, SK Telecom T1K. So what do you guys think it's going to be like not having SK Telecom T1K and Faker's team at Worlds this year?
I don't know. I don't actually watch OGN, but I think it'll be interesting not to see. I really feel like a team that's won Worlds should be automatically seeded into like Worlds as, I don't know. Like I just feel like
they
you
should
be
be automatically seeded in? I guess that is reasonable, but SK Telecom have been in quite a slump, so it would be kind of unfair if one of the top Korean teams would get to miss out. But I understand your point. I think, in fact, each team that has won the World Championships has not qualified the next season for Worlds. So I guess it's kind of a curse to a team's performance.
Yeah,
that is a fun fact for nobody that actually knew that.
Yeah.
It'll be, I don't know. It's kind of sad not to see Faker play because he's such a good player, but I don't know. They just fell off really fast, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think Dade, the mid player for Samsung Blue, is almost at a higher level than Faker, so it'd be really interesting to see if they can almost build up a bit more rep, because a lot of the Western world still really considers Faker the top mid laner, when there's a few players that are really giving him quite a hard time. But along with international news, next weekend we have the Chinese regionals, and once the Chinese regionals are finished, then we'll have all 16 teams that will be competing at Worlds. So that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to watch the group stages from Taipei.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Is it at like early hours of the morning?
Of course.
I'm not actually sure. Like, it's in quite a good time zone relation to us, because Singapore is not that far. So we might actually get lucky and get it not crazy times.
Not like 3 in the morning it starts.
That's right. My sleeping pattern's at the point where it's inverted, so like I'm totally keen to watch it at 3 a.m. Yeah, we can have a Skype party, guys. Woo.
Well, we might have Riot do another thing where they rebroadcast the games again at a more acceptable time for us. So maybe we can do that. Alright, so now we have some community questions. You guys have been asking us questions in the Twitch chat. If you have any more questions to ask, just make sure you do it now, because once it's done, it's done. Alright, so I'll do the first one, Benson, you can do the next one.
Thanks.
How I Met Your Teemo. Who stands out in a solo queue mechanically and personality-wise?
I have a few answers to this one. But first off, I'd just like to say, mechanically wise, we have a guy called Access 2, who's up in, I think he's up at Diamond 3 right now. He's probably one of the nicest guys in Oceanic solo queue, and he's mechanically absolutely incredibly good at Nasus. That's one of them. Chuffers can probably handle the next one.
Oh, that's not really a real question, is it?
You're gonna have to answer it, man. At least one person.
Give someone a shout out.
Yes,
Someone
I'm
is-
single.
No, not that. No, we're talking about the who stands out no solo queue.
Oh, right. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, of course I knew that. What the hell? Let me think. Solo queue most memorable. I think Veritas is interesting. He came from Korea supposedly, and he's actually been dominating solo queue. I think it's up to like 700 points already, and he doesn't have the new recruit badge. That means he's gotten up to 800 points, sub 100 games, and
That's
oh
pretty
yeah,
impressive.
also best 80 Oz. Actually, two more players. Best 80 Oz. He reminds me of FBI best 80 carry. He's amazing mechanics, amazing 80 carry, but he's too young to play for like right events. Rippy, since he dropped from 1k points in Challenger to Diamond 1, which I didn't think was physically possible, but Rippy did that.
God bless.
Tallywhacker, I think he's changing from an 80 carry to top lane. I'm not too sure. I think he always used to play a lot of roles, but he was pretty good. I think he's too young to play, or he just...
I think he's
got
16.
off.
I think he's 16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
something
sure.
like that. Not sure.
Who
Hang on, one
else?
more shout out. What about Luha?
Luha.
Luha,
His
apparently he
new
was at
name
I
is
don't know who
ACL?
that is.
New name?
A18, I think.
Luha? How do you not know Luha? He's like the Evelyn god of Oceanic solo queue.
He plays
Oh,
Obviously,
Awesome.
nobody knows who he is because you can't see him. He's always still.
Ah!
Oh,
Oh,
Wow.
goodness.
I'm getting out of here.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
done. See you guys.
It's over.
We better not let Chuffer hog the limelight. What about you, Charlie?
I think Shermfire actually stands out for a player. Like Shermfire has improved so much as a jungler's perspective. I think he's actually really good now. I don't know. There's not many people that stand out mechanically. God's here, really. Like there's like players known for their mechanics, and that's still the same. But there's no new players that stand out.
All right. Now we've got another question. This is actually a hidden question. It was from a guy called Sad Asian Man, and they were just wondering if does your high ELO directly correlate to how nice your hair is, Trevor?
Yes, I think that's evident from me and Charlie. The more time you spend on your hair, the more LP you pretty much get. I mean,
Because doesn't Swiffer have
it's
Swiffer has nice hair as well?
scientifically yes, like that is another example. Like it's pretty much like the Bible now. Like nice hair, Elo. Like, there's no question anymore. It's been proven.
Diamond 1. Run my fingers through it.
Yeah, like Cardred. Have you seen Cardred? Like he's purely hair. Like, his
He's
LP is
literally
just
made of
purely
hair.
Purely
Yeah.
style.
We should link in that push. Jump
yeah.
You remember that? Oh my god. Good times.
But yeah, it's pretty much the truth now. So I'm expecting everyone in kind of like plat diamond to just put some gel in their hair right before game of solo queue, and like before they know they'll be in challenger.
Wow.
I'm gonna try that later. Just jazz up
That's
the
the
hair,
secret.
play some solo queue, go the
You
sword.
don't even have to look at the screen anymore. Just let your hair do the work.
Life in a nutshell, Chuffer. Okay, you grab the next one.
Senor Paddocking, what is OCE's region lacking that it needs to step up into the ranks of other regions? Is it purely infrastructure? Who wants to take that question?
I think it's purely infrastructure. Like, there's not enough incentive for a player to like stick around if things are going bad in teams. That's why you see so much like changes in rosters. Like we have the talent, and our drafting phase is like probably. I mean, when you watch Legacy, they like took games like really handedly because our drafting phase is generally good. It's just that we sometimes don't adapt very well. Because it's kind of a small region, so like everyone doesn't have like crazy champion pools. But I think it's purely infrastructure.
I think as well that once the pro players start building more of their kind of connection with a lot of the fans, that the scene will grow a lot more. At the moment, a lot of players don't really associate themselves as oceanic players, and that's just because there hasn't been enough events and there haven't really been enough exposure to the players. So as that grows and people see like it could be reliable to get involved in the scene, it'll get bigger and it'll just take time.
I like to think of OS as just like the non-serious region, because it seems like every other region has like intense like regiments where people are in gaming houses and playing the game 8 hours a day and like all that really intense stuff, and we're like the baby brother who's like just growing up right now. And I feel like in the next like season or 2 seasons, then we might finally develop the infrastructure just from like the amount of like exposure that we're finally getting, you know, with Legacy going to Worlds and stuff like that. Now hopefully in the next like year or so, like oceanic players won't be Korean Bronze 5 anymore. Will be like an actual like, you know, something that matters. You know what I mean? Like, such a bad outlook on our region.
The
It's
guys
terrible.
got so much exposure when they went
Yeah.
over there. Like, the crowd actually really loved it. And you saw all, like, the rioters and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was just going nuts. So, congratulations to Legacy. You guys did a really good job over there. And it was really good to see everyone being so positive towards you guys.
I was actually there, and the crowd loved
Really?
all the Aussie people. Like everyone was going crazy for it. It was
awesome.
a huge event. It was really cool. Everyone really got
You see
behind
the same when
players as
Immunity
well.
went. Like when Immunity went to wildcards, they had the same type of thing. It just shows like our team is good. Our players are good. Like it's not much of a difference in terms of individual skill. It's just like infrastructure enough to practice to get like I don't know, better teamwork, I guess.
Yeah, I think as well that the scene needs to develop a bit of its own identity as like a unique region. It needs to start offering something to make it a little bit different from the other regions, not just a smaller region. But I think all that will come with time.
So, all right. So we have a question from Scrabble Babe _XO. I don't know if this is a question to us or it's a question to Charlie and Chuffer, but who is your favorite direwolf? Maybe that's like a Game of Thrones thing or something. I don't know. I don't watch it.
That's oh, you don't watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh my god,
No.
Missing
I watch-
out.
that's
yeah.
you live a sad life.
I'm a sad person.
I held out for a while
Really?
without watching it, but then I finally got on the bandwagon and got involved with everyone.
I just hate that they keep.
I don't know
killing
who's
people.
that. I don't know what that's directed at. Like,
Yeah.
as in the team
Bit vague.
teammates or what?
Well, my favorite direwolf is Charlie.
Oh.
Charlie and Chuffer.
Oh,
Oh.
that's a little. Oh, they're gonna Duoqueue after this game, guys. Whoa. The zinger.
So we got another question from Jabbers927. Who, in your opinion, would have done the best at IWC out of the OC teams if Legacy didn't win and go? Anyone?
I think Immunity. Like when they were Immunity.
So Exodus or Chiefs now?
Yeah, Chiefs would have done the best, I think, going into it. They were playing pretty good back then. They're in a bit of a slump as well, but I think they would have done the best because at the time they had the best players in each role. They just needed to work on drafting. I was actually kind of analyzing for them during the period, and I didn't get to talk to them in the final games versus Legacy, so I missed out on helping them in the last final draft phase. But like, I think they would have done the best going into wildcards by far.
Yeah.
maybe a team like full of Oster's finest one-trick ponies might take like one game off the pros, and if like the Worlds was a best of one, they might win that kind of thing. So maybe like Rengo 7, the pony guy,
Saddle up nubs.
yeah,
We're gonna have access in top lane.
Hangmark and Weed Whacker as well.
like go-to pop guy as well.
Brandon support.
Brand support, yeah, just one game, and they'll probably take it off like SKT or something like that. Or they'll just rage at each other until like the game's over. Don't really know.
There's no one-trick pony ADCs, so like I don't know how that's gonna work.
I can play loose. Oh wait, I don't want to be on that team.
Yeah. Can't you
That sounds
imagine
like
being
very
in
abusive.
a team speak call with
Feels
all
like
those
we'll have
guys?
4 junglers though.
I feel like Rengar just threatened you the entire game. Such an angry
Who would
person.
jungle Rengo 07 or the pony guy?
Well, see, if you put the pony guy somewhere else, he's just going to play Teemo and feed, so we probably should put the pony guy in jungle.
Yeah. I saw that game.
Okay, so we got a question from BGD_Rani. Okay, I got a question. I am Plat 3 support man on OS and finding it really difficult to move up to Diamond. Any advice? I assume that'd go to you, Charles.
Don't tap, play Morgana, and just keep playing games. Like, you're not gonna, like, if you play to win, you get frustrated and tilt. Like, you need to take breaks in between your games. Like, 20-minute breaks, like, change so much. But, like, honestly, it's this mentality. Like, you'll climb if you just play to, like, learn rather than win. And, yeah, don't play when you're tilting. And that's the hardest thing players, like, can't do, is they just, when they tilt, they just say, fuck it, and just spend, like, 30 games, and they just, like, go on massive lose streaks, and that, like, nullifies, like, a week of good games. And, yeah, I'd just say keep calm and keep playing. And play the OPs. It's the best way to climb.
This question for you.
It's my best.
Anyone else want to say anything?
I
Ward,
think
Ward, and Ward.
Chuck Pantheon in there somewhere.
helps.
Yeah. What was that,
I noticed like difference in like high challenger games or just kind of Diamond 1 challenger games than low Diamond / Plat games, that all people talk a lot less in challenger, kind of like sort of less abusive. Like they don't make very
Stay positive.
abusive statements that kind of throw people off, and I think that helps like the mentality of the team, morale, and not pressing FF every 3 minutes helps as well, I guess. Like team morale is quite important. Other than that, I think just playing well, playing a lot, not being too abusive, and yeah, if you're good enough, you'll climb.
People have a
And
lot
all
more
that
fun
yourself.
up in the higher elos. I don't know.
Yeah.
I noticed that like when I play in like silver and stuff like that, everyone's so angry and they're so angsty and they have to win. Like, I mean, me and Chuffer have gotten into a game in Diamond and quoted Samurai Jack for like half the game. Like, you just like if you, the more relaxed you are, the easier you'll climb. Just chill out.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, like, when you're having a bad game, you're raging, like, you're such and such has missed a skill shot. It's not, don't get into that mentality of, oh, you know, like, F you, you suck. Like, how dare you miss that? Just go, okay, I should have been in this position. I should be doing this. Don't play for other people, play for yourself kind of thing. So,
That's the supreme mindset you need to have, and it's very hard to get into that sometimes, especially if you're like me and you're kind of quick to anger. Getting into that is a challenge, but when you do, it's elo, and like you need hair
Yeah,
obviously,
Chuffy's
but yeah, elo.
Free low.
Duo back in the
Got
days
hair.
to stop us from tilting back on the NA server. We like, we'd go hardcore raging, we would tilt, and we'd be like, alright, it's time to Duo. And like,
May
if you
or
find
may
a
not
player,
have
that
a
a
bad
person that
account.
keeps you calm. Yeah, I think we learned the most. I've been banned 4 times since I've got perma bans.
Been banned 4 times.
you know,
That's pretty impressive.
Chuffer got it worse. He's been kind of
I've been banned
so-
like 8 times on my main. I got it. I emoed right. I told them, "Oh, I'm a changed man now. You can just go ahead and unban me." And they finally say, "Okay, we'll unban you." And then a week later, I get a permaban again. So I've been right.
I'm a changed man. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my God.
emoed them a third time. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I was just joking that second permaban. You can unban me now. I'm fine."
I love
But I don't think they responded to me. Yeah.
So
I-
we also have. Oh, you have.
Didn't change too much when I got into OS at first, but I think I got a lot better in terms of like rage control and not AFKing every time I lose boop off. Yep.
All right. Before anyone takes anything from that, don't do what Chuffer did and get yourself banned and then asked.
Get banned. Banned's bad.
8 times.
8 times.
Do you have any
Don't do
skins you
that.
lose when you get banned? Like, think about the skins. And Chuffer could have had UFO Corky, but
lost
he was
about
too busy being
a lot of money on
bloody
that.
Chuffer. Like, come on. Don't listen to Midgod. Never listen to Midgod.
All right, we have another question from Tallywhacker. What OCE teams do you personally struggle with the most, and who do you think will be on top in the next couple of months?
I feel like AV's been our hardest team yet. We haven't had much of a scrim record versus Legacy or Immunity and Jeeps. Like, we've had a few good games against Jeeps. Like, it's sure we're pretty even. We had a few good games against Legacy, but AV's been the hardest team yet. I'm not sure though who's going to be the upcoming team because every team's so close at the moment. So I don't even know who's good anymore. So it's hard to say, but yeah, I think it'll be close. It's hard to tell at the moment. I have to get more scrims in to gauge a team skill. So I'm not sure yet.
Is that all the community questions?
I think so, actually. Do you want to ask the question? The question?
The question. Okay.
The question.
Where is it? All right. Okay. So, basically, you guys could potentially be flying to New Zealand for the Armageddon tournament. Now, let's say that the plane takes a wrong turn and skips through a couple time dimensions, and you end up in Middle Earth. If you had one piece of gaming gear, and Chuffer, you can't say a mirror and some hair wax. If you had one piece of gaming gear to help you survive there, what would it be? So let's just say there's orcs and Urukai, and there's Aragorn is pissed at you. You have to survive, and you've only got a piece of gaming gear to survive with. What would it be?
I
Jesus
think
Christ. What the hell?
Charlie can go first
don't
on
know.
this.
Can you pick a
Oh,
computer?
jeez.
Is that alright?
Can you pick nerdy memorabilia or something like that? So if you had a replica of the sword or something like that, does that count?
Frostmourne
Because
replica.
I will fucking rep the stinger so hard, and anytime any orc comes in, be like, a bitch, please.
Oh yeah, I think a mouse. So you can swing it and smack orcs in the face and shit, and then turn Horde into a choke out device. I don't know, man. That's hard. I think we'd be screwed, man.
Maybe
Yeah,
a computer
it's mouse.
chair. That'd be alright. That's a gaming piece of equipment, isn't it? Just bring a really
Think
good quality chair. It'll just
I'd
hang
probably
out.
bring my keyboard because it's so loud on TeamSpeak. And all the orcs will be like, "Oh, what are you doing, Chuffer? Mute your mic. It's so loud." I'm like, "No, I'm not muting my mic until you leave me alone." And yeah, people have threatened. People have called my keyboard a typewriter before.
And actually, I thought there was a heap of horses in the call, but it turns out it's actually just you typing.
What
It's
keyboard
pretty
is it?
much it's more deadly than the rings. I've controlled all of Middle Earth with that. So yeah, it's my Razer typewriter.
God bless, Fraser. I think I'd just take in like, I don't know. Do you call a phone with selfies like a piece of gaming gear? I just spend the entire time uploading photos to Facebook. I think.
Well,
No,
We are
way.
with the door.
with like,
A phone is not gaming gear. No way.
Well, it is, dude. You can get like Fruit Ninja and all those other fun games. God. So you want to talk about the community artwork, Alicifer?
Yes, I do actually. Where is it? All right, so guys, exciting stuff. We are doing top fives.
Oh, did I freeze?
No. Oh well, your webcam's frozen. Like,
Oh no!
all right. So anyway, yes, we are doing top 5 plays. So if you guys stick around, if you have any top 5s, make sure that you send them in to us. We are also starting off next week showcasting a piece of community artwork. So at the end of each podcast, if you guys have any cool ideas, creations, skin ideas as well, send them in to us at community@duoqueue.net.au. We'll link that into the chat. Or message us on our Facebook page as well. And we'll happily showcase all of your wonderful creations at the end of each episode. I'm really excited because I love how creative people can be. And Benson has died.
My webcam has died. I'm still here in spirit. But apparently, I don't know. The selfie gods hate you talking about selfies. This is typical. Oh wow. Okay. So So anyway, just like to close it off a little bit now, guys. Seeing as it's probably about time, seeing as I've dispersed into oblivion. But yeah, I'd like to thank both of you so much for joining us today, Charlie and Chuffer. It was awesome. Once again, have new people on and have, the real Chuffer and the real Charlie or Chuffler. It's awesome. Thank you both so much. I was just wondering if there's any shout outs either of you'd like to make. So we'll go with you first, Charlie.
shout out to all of the DW guys, Rippy, Zilla, and Sharp, Curtis, and everyone that's helping us behind the scenes, which I cannot name at the moment, but there'll be big stuff coming. So yeah, look out for that. That's my shout outs.
Go ham, Chopper.
Alright, I got a long list of people. First of all, Jish for being a tyrannical coach. Yeah, I can't say much about that.
That's a great shout out.
Brola, Besadios, Tallywhacker, Destiny for sending me some very strange pictures. Exora, Serbicarian, Denyen for telling me I look good, and DWX70 who is a mysterious Korean player from NA, or I think that's what he wants to be known as right now. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And if people want to find more out about both of you, where can they go? Charlie?
Me, on my Twitter is OCE Charlie11. Oh, Charlie, like says on the Skype. That's all I really use for like social media. So yeah, _Charlie.
And Chuffs?
My Twitter, I guess. That's about it. That's the only social media I kind of have. I've got a Facebook. I kind of don't want to give that out right now.
Need a
just
fan
go on to the
page, not
Direwolves.
just your friends.
Well, just Benson's picture. What the hell?
It's you.
Oh,
I am
wait.
you, Chuffer. It has happened.
A
I
shout
am
out.
Chuffer.
But yeah,
Someone wants another shout
everyone,
out.
everyone should go onto the Direwolves Facebook page. That's growing, and we always post on that. We just posted a really, really cool wallpaper that our graphics editor Michi made. It's really worth a look. I'll link it into the chat as well.
Yeah, he does a lot of sick designs.
Excellent.
And yeah, my Twitter, follow me. I need 3-digit followers.
Oh, you should follow me as well. I was nice enough to follow you, but no love back. I'll tweet at you and see if I
The
can
friend
get
zone is real. Friend zone.
And lastly, an analysis, Sergeant. If everyone wants to follow you and find out more about what you do, let's
Yep.
hear it.
Yep, follow me on Twitter, GGC Sergeant DQ. I post lots of cool stuff, so I recommend it all.
Excellent. Well, thank you to all of our viewers that are tuned in today. Duoqueue podcast will be back next Wednesday at 7:30. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure to follow us all on social media and check out our website. You can follow me at Alicifer, and you can find the lovely Benson at BensonAU. This has been Duoqueue podcast. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
I would wave right now, but I'm Chuffer.